It's a Friday night in the early 2010s. You're watching videos on YouTube, just browsing, going down the recommended tab, seeing what interesting things that you can find. And while it's mostly the same old, you do feel this feeling in the pit of your stomach. You have a feeling that if you just keep pressing on, you'll find something new, something interesting. And while for the most part not much interesting happens, you do see a weird little thumbnail sitting in the corner. And as you scroll down to click it, you're greeted by this. Nothing too out of the ordinary, but still off-putting. But by coming to this video, you've already sealed your fate. More and more strange thumbnails appear until finally you click one, and you're greeted by this.
Jimmy, your mom is dead. Do an order of pizza for dinner.
Okay, Daddy. Hello, can I get a large pizza pie for the Nutrin household?
You've just entered the weird side of YouTube. And from here, you'll only continue to fall down the rabbit hole of odd content that no one ever expected to find.
There is nothing.
The weird side of YouTube used to be an infamous part of the website, where at any point on any video, the recommended tab might just shoot you some odd video, and out of curiosity you'd click on it just to be stuck in the pits of the odd, surreal, and, well, creepy side of content on the website. This is that strange little hole where many of us would find what are now classic horror videos. Things like the ever infamous I Feel Fantastic, as well as many of those weird Jimmy Neutron videos that populated this corner of the website for some reason. Now, these days, it's not as easy to naturally end up on the weird side of YouTube, because at this point the algorithm and recommendation system has changed and, well, it's kind of just been broken so much that it doesn't really allow for this sort of natural weird happenstance to happen all that often. But back in the day, it wasn't all that hard to end up in this strange little catacomb. But come the mid-2010s, as more people started to talk about it, it would also become a bit harder to naturally find because, like with anything, once people saw there was potential to get covered by a big channel, thousands of people would run out to make their own weird little videos, shove it out into the world, and pray to God that Rainbot or Scare Theater would pick it up as a potential topic. Just like everything else, it ended up becoming a bit of a novelty that people wanted to be in, rather than just that strange pit that you would fall into from time to time and see some strange shit that people had uploaded throughout the years. But with all that being said, given the countless parodies, fan art, and mass amounts of coverage that it got back in the day, aside from maybe I Feel Fantastic, there is one video from this little corner of YouTube that has stood the test of time, being an eerie little experience all of its own. And that video is Blank Room Soup. If you've never seen this video, then you probably saw that snippet and thought to yourself, what the fuck did I just watch? And as someone who's seen it quite a few times, it never really stops feeling like that. And that's more than likely the reason it's stuck around for so long as an infamous piece of content buried underneath YouTube's underbelly. This video would end up sparking some of the most insane rumors that you could find all across the website. things ranging from cannibalism to deep web snuff films, and on a lighter note, just a hoax meant to carry attention to a curious little project. And during its initial wave of popularity back in 2015, certain people would make videos on it that would end up leaving this thing out in the sun for people to run to and create even more rumors as they couldn't figure out how to debunk the entire thing. So, dear viewer, why don't we take a step back and take a look at Blank Room Soup and figure out just what this whole thing really is. Pretty eerie, isn't it? But let's take a closer inspection on this video. When we watch it, it's eerie and unsettling, but nothing remotely horrible even happens here. It's just a disheveled man crying into a bowl of soup. And as he does so, strange little mascot characters come out to comfort him. But aside from that, nothing else really happens. The two mascots themselves may seem a little creepy, but that's really it. The unease of this whole video is so palpable, but if you were to try to describe just what about it is weird and creepy, you'd probably sound stupid and like you're scared of nothing. But that all changes once you actually see the video. There's an unrelenting tension that comes from seeing this man in distress. And the two clearly strange-looking mascot men next to him just makes it feel all the more wrong. But where most of the fear factor here really comes from is from the ambiguity of the entire situation. Why is there this random sensor bar across the man's face? And who are these strange figures next to him? Just what is going on? When it comes to Blank Room Soup, the ambiguity here is the key to the video's creepiness, because we lack any actual context on anything and are left to sit with the initial feelings of seeing someone in distress in an uncanny situation to begin with. So why don't we shed some light around the darkness? The two masked men that you see in the video are not original costumes that were made by some crazy kidnappers who wanted to wear them while torturing people. Rather, these are just costumes based on a little character named RAYRAY. RAYRAY is a mascot character created by Raymond S. Percy, a man of many talents, and someone whose work you've actually probably seen. He's worked on many popular animated shows and children's films, such as The Simpsons, Wreck-It Ralph, and Zootopia, being a director, animator, designer, and most famously, a voice actor. Though the reason you probably don't recognize his name is because he's always been more of a behind-the-scenes person. Back in the early 2000s, he would start his own little performance art group based around these two little characters, RAYRAY. This would include some street antics, live shows, animations, and of course, online videos. And overall, there's nothing all that strange about the project, And in the proper context, even the designs of the costumes and characters overall are actually quite cute and fun. Percy would actually even talk about how these characters were designed to encompass a sense of isolation and loneliness, as well as a deep-seated desire to create and entertain. Their blank-faced design and overall monochrome quality more than likely being made to nod at those two aspects of them, and it does so pretty well. These are actually quite fun little costumes, and I enjoyed watching a lot of the content that was on both the provided channels that were run by the RAYRAY team. And that's the thing here. After watching a fair bit of these, it's obvious that there was never anything creepy or all that strange about them. So it really starts to beg the question, how do we go from something like this to this? As mentioned before, Blank Room Soup is a pretty notorious video, and one that's made its initial rounds nearly a decade ago. But before we really delve into that aspect, it's important to note that the video itself is even older than a decade. This wasn't some clip that was posted and within a week got picked up and spread across the site like wildfire. Rather, Blank Room Soup was actually originally uploaded in 2005 under the name Freaky Soup Guy. 20 years ago, for that matter. The same year that YouTube actually went online. So just as I'm digging into a carcass 10 years after it was initially found and spread like wildfire, when the video was being picked up and spread initially, it was already a corpse that was 10 years old to begin with. Now, I bring this up not just to bring attention to the age of the video, but also to bring context and attention to the bigger picture of the video itself. And that's that this is a strange clip that lacks any real context. And it's that lack of context that makes it as unsettling as it is. But the important part here is that this got its initial spread in 2015, 10 years removed from the initial upload of it originally, which makes it nearly impossible to communicate with the original uploader who would be able to give us any actual context to make it less strange or unsettling. But the year 2015 is actually a lot more important than you would think. In hindsight, it's just another year, it's just a decade ago of time, but if you were around for it, then you probably remember that this was a very particular year for a specific topic that would become the apple of the online horror community's eye. And that topic would be the deep web. Popularized by people like Mudahar with his series Deep Web Browsing, most people at this point probably have a basic understanding of just what the deep web is. And that's that it's just the Marianas Trench of the web, a place that hosts countless unlisted websites and broken web pages, and in that abyss lies some greasy and illegal content as well, including marketplaces for anything from drugs to guns to hitmen, as well as communities built completely around disgusting and horrific things like CSAM. But back in 2015, the deep web wasn't very widely understood, and for most people it was just this spooky little thing that people whispered about online. And for your average normie, all you knew it as was the place to find gore, snuff films, cheese pizza, and where the infamous Silk Road was hosted. In other words, it was the hell on earth that people wanted to talk about. It was a scary place where nothing but terrible things lied, and, well, the online horror space went hog wild with that, pushing ideas of things like red rooms, which are complete bullshit as we know, but back in the day, that shitty little creepypasta was believed to be real, a place where they would live stream torture and snuff films. And along with those, you would also have stories of shadowy figures, people kidnapping random other people and killing them on camera, or torturing them and doing whatever Black Mirror shit they wanted to do. Basically, it was the type of thing that you would really expect from your average dogshit creepypasta from back in the day. So, when a video like Blank Room Soup would surface, it would pretty instantly be met with the same treatment. And that treatment, it definitely got. During the lead up to the video's explosion in popularity, Percy, the creator of the RAYRAY characters, would supposedly be emailed a copy of Blank Room Soup, which at that point had been uploaded and re-uploaded thousands of times. According to a write-up from freaklore.com, confused yet fascinated, Percy uploaded a rather disturbing video that was sent to him from an email. Seen in this video appears to be a man sitting down at a table, eating something from a bowl. He's holding a large wooden spoon and seems to be clearly upset, as he is crying. The entire video has a rather ominous feel about it. The video is now known as blankroomsoup.avi. It's believed that this video has made its way onto the deep web at some point. Some think that it's a snuff film. The man seen at the table could be eating human flesh or possibly being tortured and held in a remote location. Quite possibly, this was recorded in someone's basement or an office-type building. Without any real surprise from anyone, the video would initially be met with that deep web lens of obsession. And thanks to this, as well as its naturally creepy and off-putting atmosphere, it would attract insanity from all corners of the web, with people hosting all sorts of theories that it was some sort of snuff film, or that it was a video of a man who was being terrorized and beaten, or some of the more infamous ones of the time was that this is a guy who got kidnapped and was being forced to eat his wife and child in a soup, or just all sorts of crazy shit like this. And as you can see from the countless comments I'm bringing up, this was something that was widely spread, whether out of the childish desire to believe it in order to have fun, or people actually believing that this was the case. Essentially, any horrible thought your average creepypasta reader could come up with would end up being thrown out as some asinine theory, and it would just continue to grow and grow until it went out of proportion. Though, there is a more grounded theory that was thrown out about this video, and that was that this whole thing was just a publicity stunt. Something Freaklore actually mentions in their article, though they would downplay it as not being likely. And if Percy, the man behind RAYRAY, was to be believed, then this wasn't the case. During its initial spread in 2015, one of the biggest creators at the time to cover Blank Room Soup was Rainbot, who in her own video around the subject would actually end up reaching out to Percy himself on Twitter and ask if he had anything to do with the creation of this video. He would then delve into his story on how he and his crew were performing a show in LA at the Key Club, and after the show, when the band had left the venue to get some food, they would return to find that their RV had been broken into, with most of the costumes and props stolen. Percy would go on to explain that he got an email a few weeks later, containing the infamous video, what we know now as Blank Room Soup, and would even note his confusion when he saw that the people wearing the costumes were able to actually replicate the movements and action of the RAYRAY characters that most new performers had apparently struggled to recreate. So, if we were to take Percy at face value, he didn't have anything to do with creating these videos, and the people who stole the costumes were the ones behind it. And given that these videos were made either before YouTube's creation or right at the beginning of it, it is a bit believable because most of these people online probably wouldn't have an idea of where to even host a video of something like this. And if they were fans or knew about the RAYRAY project, they had to be local to where Percy was active, being able to see the live shows and whatever else was put up. Now, obviously, there's a likely chance that this is all a lie, and I think a lot of people would probably think that if they were looking at this a bit more skeptically. Though it's the same video by Rainbot where this response was broadcast that would actually be the catalyst in helping push Blank Room Soup into the infamous status it has today, putting it in the minds of young creepypasta and horror fans that this could possibly be real, as Rainbot would take Percy at face value, as one would probably do especially during this time period on the internet, and would end up saying that they couldn't really debunk the video the way they wanted to. And this is no fault to Rainbot. I'm not trying to blame them for turning Blank Room Soup into the infamous fucking thing it is now, but because they didn't put a lid on this thing, young creepypasta and horror fans from all over the place would then see it as truth that this was real, and the speculations and theories would only continue to ramp up. And during this haze of insane theories of cannibalism and kidnapping in the deep web, the internet did what it did best, and that was to take it as fact until proven wrong. But in that haze of insanity and theories, people would forget probably the most telling and most important part of Percy's initial response to Rainbot. And that would be that at the end of his response, he would link to a channel and mention that there was more than one video that was sent to him. Video number 2 is just another version of the first. It's a man sitting down eating the soup once again, though here sounding significantly more disgusting with the way that he's eating. And the RAYRAYs come into frame and stare at him. The video ending with one charging at him. And I think after seeing this video, it really takes all the wind out of the sails of the original. Sorry to anyone who actually wanted to believe that this video was somehow real, because as far as I know, snuff films aren't the kind of movies that get second takes unless it's a new victim. And if we refer back to Percy's statement of how these people acted like RAYRAY with the right movements, this goofy little walk over here makes it all make sense. These videos are nothing more than jokes and skits, and if we take a look at the other videos in the series, then, well, it becomes all the more clear. When we look at the third video, it's just them pulling out the man in a different outfit tied up, and come on, the dude's tied up in the most cartoonish way possible. And if we look at video 4, it's just a guy in the costume standing as ominous as possible in the dark. So no, there was never a snuff film on the table. All of these videos were collected and re-uploaded by a channel named Maintenance Tunnels. And if we look at the last 2 videos in their playlist on this, they don't really appear to be connected to any of the RAYRAY stuff. You just have them seemingly trying to create a bit of an ARG around these videos, and the last video looks like it's trying to connect it with the Backrooms or something similar. But hey, this isn't what we're here to talk about. It's the other 3 videos that include the RAYRAY characters and the guy who's eating the soup that matter most. And it's these overlooked videos that really give us everything that we need to know. It was all just a silly skit, and I think most people probably already knew that, aside from maybe some of the kids who saw it at the time and a few grown adults that just wanted something silly to believe in to make their boring little lives feel just a bit more interesting. But if you want even more proof, then let's just peel back the curtain a little more. If we just take a look back at the RAYRAY project, then it's pretty clear from the start that this entire thing was just a joke and a hoax project made to be a part of the overall RAYRAY thing. Percy would collaborate with a band on a music video during this time period. Or at least it would appear so, because if not, then this band is just blatantly showing off that they were the ones who stole the suits if the initial story from Percy's to be believed. This band is known as Stolen Babies, and in their video for the song Push Button, animations of characters that look just like the RAYRAYs can be seen, as well as 2 men in the actual RAYRAY suits are heavily featured in the latter half of the video. Though they're not really the part that's important here. The important part is actually this guy, the drummer, who, if you look closely, is actually the same guy who's eating soup in the original video. And while you could say, it looks slightly different, well, just take a look at video 3, where he's wearing the exact same outfit from the music video. So not only did those lesser known videos really reveal that this whole thing was a skit from the start, but the fact that these two were probably filmed on the same day as the whole shoot for the push button video. That's why the original statement that Percy gave to Raimbot sounded so over the top and rehearsed. It was all just a ploy for publicity and a fun little stunt the band did way back in 2005, and his unwillingness to admit that this was all part of the project was more than likely due to him just enjoying some of the attention and having fun with the whole thing. Seeing some videos that were filmed a decade before get turned into a massive internet hoax that got thousands of people talking about it. And you know what? I don't blame the guy. While the truth behind Blank Room Soup is a bit anticlimactic, as the truth often tends to be in these situations, it's still a fun piece of internet history. Blank Room Soup is a staple of the fabled weird side of YouTube, and has stood the test of time in being a creepy and unsettling little video. It's something that sparked countless little theories and got the old creepypasta community riled up in a way that not much else could. And even on an artistic angle, it's such a simple and short video that perfectly encapsulates the uncanny valley. Just show someone a snippet of something strange with no context to it, and oftentimes their own mind will come up with something far more horrifying than anything someone else could have come up with, leaving an impact that lasts for years and lives as a scary little memory floating around in the back of your mind. And that's the magic behind Blank Room Soup. And honestly, the magic behind those old strange videos we used to come across back during YouTube's golden era. Blank Room Soup is a classic and encapsulates the magic of the weird side of the internet. Now, before you go, there is one last thing I want to show you. This is my wall of shame. The list of names of people who donate to my Patreon and keep the lights on and keep me strapped down making new videos on a mostly regular basis. In all honesty, I can't thank them all enough, and their support keeps things going. And if you like what you saw and you want to give me your hard-earned cash and make poor financial decisions, well, head on down to my Patreon. The link is in the description. Thank you all for 50K. It's awesome to finally reach this milestone. Next one's 100K, baby. We're going to do it. But till then, I've got plenty more content. I've got a lot of stuff planned, and I really hope you guys will stick around for the ride because I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm going to do this for years to come, as long as I can. So, with all that being said, subscribe, support me on Patreon, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next video.